Didn't mean to ignore you.
No.
All righty. It is 5:32, and I do see that we have a majority of members of council present, with Mr. Bolt and Ms. Lowry absent from tonight's meeting. But since we do have a quorum, I will call us to order. So everyone, welcome to the July meeting of Lawrence City Council. Our first item of business tonight is an invocation. On the agenda, it has Mr. Bolt leading us, but since he is absent, I'll be glad to fill in that role and then lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll go from there. So please stand. Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us together today as the people of this city and their representatives to seek your will, to try to live out that will in our decisions, to try to do our best to honor that which is right and good, and to look out for the good of your people, to govern justly, fairly. We ask that you would guide our minds as we undertake tonight's business and all our duties in serving the people of the city of Lawrence, both today and throughout our time of service. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Tonight we have a fairly short agenda, and I will do my best not to add to the length of this meeting by my comments. I did want to bring your attention to just a few things. We had a terrific event since we last met with both our Juneteenth event and Freedom Fest. Freedom Fest welcomed thousands of people to Lawrence, and I can't tell you the number of times I've heard from folks, new residents of the city, that they came to Lawrence and became new residents because of that event or visiting our town and just being struck by the small town feel, but also the vibrancy of our community. And I want to give a particular shout out to all our city staff and community volunteers who work so hard to make that happen. I would be remiss if I didn't call special attention to our city special events and marketing coordinator, Lisa Canada. She is an outstanding individual, and she did such an outstanding job of preparing that. She has taken a well-deserved break this week. I don't know whether she's watching tonight's meeting, but she hadn't done a very good job of staying away from work emails and her phone. So in the event she is watching, Lisa, you deserve a great big pat on the back. So I want to pay special attention and thanks to those folks. As we continue throughout this summer, while that festival did dedicate a lot of attention and time, that doesn't mean that other efforts have not been ongoing. We're pursuing a hotel survey and development interest fact-finding from the community. We did a hotel feasibility study a couple years ago, and that showed that there indeed was demand for that in the city of Lawrence, which is no great surprise to those of us who have talked to folks who wanted to come here and didn't have a place in town to stay. But with some of the moves that have taken place since then, the county's development of the Ag Center, other more recent developments in economic development, that need continues to strengthen. But the more information that we can gather as part of that study, the better. So If anybody has any information that they would like to share, please feel free to reach out to my office at City Hall, and we'd be glad to take that information and pass it along to those that are doing the feasibility study. This week, council is headed to the Municipal Association annual meeting. I look forward to all the sessions that we take part in down there. We've talked with members of council about the fact that while this is some time away, it is definitely a period of work for us all. I look at it particularly as a time of being refreshed and hearing all the new and great ideas about things other cities around South Carolina are doing, and talking to our colleagues about some of the issues that they're facing that are similar to ours, because we all have a lot we can learn from each other. And there's always a tremendous offering of educational sessions so that we can be better at what we do. I know one particular focus of this year is really a refocus on something that the Municipal Association has brought up in years past, which is civility. There's a challenge among city governments all across the state right now to find qualified candidates to serve in public office. I believe, and I would say that evidence supports, that part of the reason for that is because of the tone of public discourse and the lack of civility, not just among people who serve the public in the elected bodies. And in fact, I'd say we're doing pretty good on that account here in Lawrence. But the lack of civility that can take place and the lack of respect between the public and those that have been elected to serve them. One of the things that we've talked about in particular that came up since our last meeting is concerns about the splash pad. I want to make very clear, it seems like an obvious thing, but the appropriate method of communicating to the city of Lawrence if there is an issue is not by a random comment in a random Facebook post. The city of Lawrence does not have staff capable of monitoring Facebook posts for 8-10 hours a day, just in the event that something might come up that the city government would need to be alerted to. There was a report, which we have not been able to substantiate, that there were some kids who were playing on the splash pad and had cuts on their feet. Which, if true, is a terrible thing. And I'm not calling that those reports into question. But I can say, having checked emails, voicemails at City Hall, at the police department, there have been no calls to the city concerning the splash pad since 2023. I can find no record either in any contact which has been made to my office, email, anything like that, of any notification that that was an issue. And as soon as we did find out that that was a concern, staff went out there and checked on it immediately. I say all that to say there's no desire not to do the right thing, not to take care of the things that we need to take care of. Of course, we all live in this community together. We all want the best thing for the city of Lawrence. We all want children to be safe when they play on equipment. But we have to treat each other with respect. There has to be a proper flow of communication. And in the event anybody is watching tonight that wasn't aware of it, I just want to make clear that we do not have the capacity to constantly monitor Facebook pages. And frankly, I will say that I'm committed that we will not govern according to Facebook. That's just bad policy.
Very much.
But we respect anybody that has concerns that they want to share with us through the proper channels. That would be contacting us at City Hall. Feel free to send me an email. Feel free to send the city administrator an email. If they want to sign up to speak at public comment, they're certainly welcome to. If it concerns something that we have on the agenda, that is. But we want to do our best. All of us at city government want to do our best. And the public servants who are willing to put themselves out there and work for less pay than they might get in private industry do it because they love this community. And in defense of them, I will say there's abuse that many of our public employees receive that they do not deserve. It is unwarranted and disrespectful. I'm a mayor. I signed up for this. I expect to get some arrows slung in my direction. I'm not saying I enjoy it. Feel free not to. But the people that work for the city of Laurens are really hardworking people, and I will always have their backs. And in this respect, I'm simply asking the people, not just of the city of Laurens, but the broader community, because we hear a lot from folks that don't live in the city limits, to simply be respectful, to treat others the way that you would want to be treated, to speak with love. And I think if we do that, we'll all have a much easier time getting the job done that needs to get done. So I appreciate that consideration. With that somewhat somber reminder, I do want to turn to a happier note. I announced last meeting that it would soon be our pleasure to introduce a new member of staff to you. And so tonight it is my pleasure to introduce to the City of Laurens and to council, Ms. Jocelyn Patterson. She joins us as our new zoning and planning director. She has all sorts of wonderful qualifications, and after having spent some time with her, she's just a joy to be around, and I think she's going to be a great addition to our team. If Martin was here, I'd wink at him by saying this. She is a graduate of Clemson University. It's not the sole reason we hired her, but it certainly didn't hurt. But the degree that she earned from that fine institution was a master's degree in historic preservation. And because so much of what our zoning and planning department does in dealing with historic preservation, those skills and that experience is going to be a tremendous asset to the city of Laurens. When I saw that she had worked as a museum interpreter, I knew that she had all sorts of experience working with the public. And if you can deal with tourists in the hot summer sun and field their questions, anything that a developer could throw at you, it was going to be no problem for you. But speaking of developers, she has experience working with Ryan as their historic tax credit consultant. It's good to know what industry thinks about a particular project, and bringing that experience to bear, I think, is going to do well for Laurens. I could go through the rest of her resume with you, and I won't put you through all that because it's voluminous. But I do want to just give you the opportunity, if you will, to just step forward or at your seat, if you'll turn on the microphone anyway, and just say a few words and introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you, Nathan. Like he said, I just received my Master's of Science in Historic Preservation. I'm originally from Georgetown, South Carolina, so I'm a small town girl at heart. I lived in New York, I've lived in Los Angeles. I did attend Clark Atlanta University as undergrad, and my undergrad degree is in mass communications, public relations. So with the PR and with the Master's in Historic Preservation, I think that's a good marriage. And just like Nathan was saying, my degree as a preservationist, I do believe integrating that with zoning and planning can lead to economic development. It's all about preserving the built environment because there's really no more land to be building on. So we have to preserve what we have here, and especially with a small community like this, preservation and zoning and planning can lead to economic development. And so I'm excited to be in a small town and start off my career as a preservationist coming out of grad school. I'm very appreciative of being able to move up into the upstate and being in a position like this and to help the mayor and his vision of the city of Lawrence, and hopefully I can participate and be a part of that. And so I'm very excited to be working with each one of you guys, and I hope to meet and sit with you guys and maybe have some lunch or maybe some coffee and get more of what your vision is for as council members and how I can work to help make that happen. So I'm just excited to be here, and thank you, Mayor and Eric as well. So I feel like I'm in a good family-centric type of work, and that just makes fun coming to work. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're so glad to have you on board. That brings me to the end of my remarks for tonight. With that said, we move on to the next item on our agenda, which is public participation and the public comment period. I do not believe we had anybody sign up to speak on any items on the agenda, and so we move forward to the consent agenda. We have two items on the consent agenda: approval of tonight's agenda for this meeting and approval of our minutes from the regular council meeting of June 17th. Do I hear any motions concerning the consent agenda?
So moved to accept the consent agenda as read.
Thank you, Councilor Miller. We have a motion and a second from Councilor Campbell. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will call a question. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda as printed, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And the consent agenda items are approved. For us is new business, and for that, I would like to welcome Lawrence County Emergency Management Director Sonny Lutta, familiar to us all as our former police chief. Welcome home. Please share with us what's going on from the county's perspective.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Whitmire, last time I was here, you had not yet taken your seat, so congratulations.
Thank
It's very nice to see you there.
Thank you.
We all live in this community. We all want citizens to be safe. We want to do our best. The mayor just uttered those words 5 minutes ago. That's exactly what we want with emergency management. And the way we achieve all that is for people to be prepared in under what we call blue sky times. That's today. That's when not too much is going on in the emergency world. I mean, I know a lot's going on in our lives and all that, but let's take these days to prepare, whether that be stocking away food, water, alternate sources of power. If you have a generator, please make sure that, like the firefighters remind us every year, check your batteries on your smoke detector. Please pull the cord on that generator or push that button or check that battery to make sure it works. Because when it's raining, hailing, and storming, that's not the time to figure out the thing didn't work because the spark plug is bad let's make sure we prepare, and not only for ourselves, for our loved ones, for people who we care about, our neighbors. Let's make sure that their medicines are up. Let's make sure that, you know, their paths to wherever they need to get to safely or for safety are readily available to them. A lot of people think that Lawrence County Emergency Management and emergency management in general is this big, huge organization, right? It's me, Becky Backwell, and Kurt Glenn. That's it. Our main job in an emergency is to assess the situation and make phone calls. Once our local folks, once we have exhausted all of our resources, then we make phone calls to the state. The state then makes phone calls to their network, and that's how we do our job. That's what we do, generally speaking. We're coming, folks. We're coming. Speaking for my brothers and sisters in law enforcement, in the EMS world, fire, we're coming. We're in this neighborhood, we're affected just as much, if not more sometimes, than our neighbors. We've had firefighters and police officers who could not get to emergency scenes because they had trees in their road, trees on their house, that sort of thing. So, but just understand, we are coming. But again, we go back to preparedness. If you prepare for at least a 24-hour period, you don't have to prepare for 30 days. We will get to you by then. But if you can at least prepare for 24 hours, 36 hours, that'll be great. All right? Let's see. If you would kindly visit our new county website, lawrencecountysc.gov. And I'm so glad to see, Mr. Mayor, that on the city Facebook, that you folks have incorporated the hurricane guide for 2025. Please look at that, because that gives you a lot of great information, whether it's evacuation routes, and even though evacuation routes may not pertain to us, we may have loved ones. You all may have loved ones on the coast, and as y'all remember from Helene, it's not just the coast that gets hit with hurricanes.
Right.
So we got lulled into that false sense of security. But we definitely know it can happen here. But I was so glad to see that, Mr. Mayor, that you all have that. I'd be willing to take any questions that you all might have at this time. And really, the only reason I came here, not in an emergency, again, this is under blue sky times, but I know every single one of you sitting up there on the dais. Please do not hesitate to call me if there's anything at all we can do for you. Again, like the mayor said, we all live here, we want everybody to be safe, and we want to do the best we can. So I'd be happy to take any questions.
On your
Yes.
new website, a copy of the procedures that you were just speaking about,
Yes.
is that present? I haven't visited yet, so,
It is.
okay,
It is.
that's good.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
Yes,
good,
ma'am.
okay.
And there are other sites that have links on there.
Okay.
Refer you to FEMA, if any of your constituents might have questions. We had, I think, about 250 weather radios that we were able to distribute to the community. We got a grant to the tune of $5,400, I think. We were able to buy 250 radios and distribute those to people who live in Lawrence County.
That's great, that's awesome, thank you.
Anything else? Well, Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you for having me again. And again, please do not hesitate to contact me or emergency management. Remember, the three of us. So, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. As chair, one of the most proud periods was in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene and seeing the way our first responders work together. And it's sort of a trope, you know, the counties and cities have friction and don't always get along. I can tell you, when that was happening, everybody was working together. Lives were saved. And I so much appreciate your efforts on the county side to keep us informed and come and speak to us in a time where there is an emergency and help spread the word. And I thank you for that ongoing spirit of cooperation. we'll keep it up on our end. And with that, we come to the night, at the end of tonight's agenda, and since we don't have a mayor pro tem around, might I call on our, second most senior? If that doesn't cause any offense.
Thank you. But before we end the meeting, we all would like to say happy birthday to our mayor.
Oh,
Today is his birthday, and happy birthday.
thank
And
you. Somebody at City Hall was asking me how old I was, and I said I'm celebrating the 21st anniversary of my 21st birthday.
that's nice. And I did send him a text this morning, said, don't twist too much, because he did win the twist contest at the festival. Okay, I make a motion that the meeting comes adjourned.
Thank you for that slight twist. We have a motion. If there is no objection, we are adjourned.
Well, that was easy.